The last 2 years of PC gaming have left quite a few shakeups in its wake by way of a slew of terrible ports, higher VRAM requirements, and sharply rising prices in the GPU market. Recommended specs are not quite what they used to be, and with shiny new Unreal Engine 5 titles on the horizon, it's clear that gaming laptops have some catching up to do to keep up with the performance demands already straining the desktop arena. Thankfully, the 2023 HP Omen 16 provides a marked improvement over its predecessor, owing most of its significant performance uplift to Nvidia's excellent RTX4080 mobile GPU. It's a powerhouse, sure, but that's to be expected for a laptop with premium MSRP of $2739.99 USD. If you're in the market for an RTX 4080 laptop, you'll have a lot of options to choose from, and they all offer outstanding performance. So the real question then is, what does HP offer here that makes it a more appealing choice than its competitors? The HP Omen 16 offers the latest Intel 13th Gen i7-13700HX, which is a 16-core processor, 32GB of DDR5 RAM at 4800 MHz, and an excellent 2TB NVMe SSD, and of course, the aforementioned RTX 4080 maxing out at 145 watts. It does all of this with a 16-inch 240Hz 1440p display, which I weighed in at a comfortable 5.5 pounds. The size and weight are nothing groundbreaking, but more importantly, it's not unusually heavy or thick considering the serious tech it's packing, which I think is a big plus. Additionally, the 280-watt charger is surprisingly slim and is hardly the big brick you might find with other laptops. Overall, I was impressed with the laptop's portability in relation to its hardware. If you are looking for something super slim and portable, you'll probably want a smaller form factor laptop that packs an RTX 4070 or 4060 instead, though be prepared to sacrifice significant performance. In terms of its build quality, the laptop is all plastic but has a nice feel. I get the sense that this was a necessary sacrifice to make in order to keep down its weight, which is a compromise I welcome wholeheartedly. It is entirely black, minimally designed, with a low profile look. The only markings on the body come from the Omen logo, which is featured in low contrast on the middle of the front exterior. I don't like flashy laptops and prefer a minimal look, so this suits me just fine. In my opinion, there is nothing particularly eye-catching about it, so if you want a laptop to look like you spent almost $3 grand on it, the Omen 16 won't do that for you. The keyboard felt good to use, and the trackpad has a nice tactile click. Notably, the keyboard features a complete suite of customization options in terms of RGB lighting and effects made possible by the Omen Gaming Hub software, which is pre-installed on the laptop. You can have your lights breathe in and out, change colors, or dance around the keyboard. The options are fairly comprehensive, and if this is the sort of thing you like, I think you'll love it here. In terms of USB connectivity, there are 2 USB 4 Type-C ports, which in addition to providing up to a whopping 40 gigabits per second, is also capable of transferring a DisplayPort signal and can charge the laptop. The 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports are a welcome feature that happens to be missing in some of the competition. There are also 2 USB Type-A ports. On the laptop's left side is a 3.5mm audio jack, which is always neat to see. As a creator, however, I'm disappointed by the lack of an SD card reader. But if you're getting this laptop purely for gaming, this will be a non-issue. The laptop fans are mighty, and they sure have to be to keep up with how hot the RTX 4080 can run. The fans themselves vent nicely from multiple directions, not just from the back, but from the left and side too. Yes, this laptop will get hot to the touch, but it manages to contain that heat away from the keyboard, maintaining a comfortable user experience throughout. I gamed for hours on it and did not notice the keyboard get hot, which is a big plus. Although not absolutely necessary, I always recommend getting a cooling pad to at least raise the laptop so there's more space to vent beneath the laptop when running high performance tasks, as the laptop intakes from the bottom. The fans get very loud when running the laptop in max performance mode via the Omen Gaming Hub app. In fact, they get so loud that it was actually difficult to hear the dialogue in some games, even with the speakers maxed out. This wasn't an issue in every game, but I noticed this problem most when I was playing The Last of Us Part 1 and sometimes found it difficult to hear character banter. When running the laptop on balance power mode, the fans run much quieter. However, you won't be running the GPU at max power, and as a result, won't be getting as much performance out of your machine. I generally recommend always being on performance mode when gaming to ensure you get the most frames per second. Though, if you're running an older title or something that isn't very demanding, it's nice to have the option to opt for a lower power mode to get a quieter experience. Although the fan noise is disappointing in performance mode, I'm not surprised. Considering something has to stop the RTX 4080 from melting, you're probably better off wearing headphones so you don't have to hear those noisy fans. One of the 2023 Omen 16's most interesting selling features is that it comes with a pair of wireless HyperX Cloud 2s and a wireless receiver for the laptop's internals. This means you'll be able to use the included HyperX Cloud 2 headset without worrying about carrying around and inevitably losing the usual USB dongle. Because of this integration, the headset connects instantly and without hassle to the laptop when turned on. A nice, slightly gimmicky feature to have, considering plugging in a USB dongle isn't much of a hassle. Coming in at $120 USD, the HyperX Cloud 2 is a relatively popular and comfortable mid-range gaming headset, and it's certainly a welcome addition to the overall package. Though, if you're like me and have a better pair of headphones that you prefer using, it doesn't add all that much value to what the Omen 16 offers. Continuing with more audio-related specs, the Omen 16 offers an impressive sounding set of laptop speakers designed by Bang & Olufsen that will replace a nice set of external speakers. The internal speakers have a full, well-rounded sound that could fill up a small room. It's a shame that the fans are so loud you're better off using headphones when gaming. Despite that, they are otherwise fantastic for watching movies, listening to music, and browsing the internet. If speaker quality concerns you, I believe you'll be impressed by what HP offers here. The monitor, which can fully articulate backward, checks all the right boxes I look for in a gaming monitor. It has a very high refresh rate, fast 3 millisecond response time, NVIDIA G-Sync, and is in the optimal resolution for how well the hardware performs. The Omen 16 can handle 1440p very well in modern titles, often with the help of AI upscaling like DLSS or AMD's FSR, an AI-powered technique that interpolates quote-unquote fake frames between real frames to double frame rates. 4K, however, is still not really viable in a laptop, even with the power of the RTX 4080. The brightness isn't crazy at 300 nits, but is more than enough to be used indoors, which is where you'll probably be using this laptop anyway. Notably, it is not an HDR monitor, but that's not something that bothers me too much. Let's be real. If you're buying a gaming laptop to do anything besides browsing the internet or watching movies, you'll want to plug it in. Having said that, if you're looking for a laptop with good battery life, this is not it. Even on the balanced power setting and with the Windows built-in battery saver feature that decreased screen brightness, I couldn't even reach 2 hours unplugged. To make matters worse, all I was doing was writing this review, answering emails, and watching the occasional YouTube video. With this kind of performance, this certainly isn't the kind of laptop you'll be bringing with you on a plane to browse the internet and watch movies on for the duration of the flight. But in its defense, it's a high-performing gaming laptop that isn't built to particularly portable or be used when it isn't plugged in. I rarely use my laptop unplugged, and certainly not going to be using it unplugged when doing demanding tasks like gaming. To test performance, I ran a few benchmarks on particularly demanding titles in 1440p resolution like The Last of Us Part 1, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Hogwarts Legacy, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Cyberpunk 2077. All in all, these are pretty astonishing results that were impossible from a laptop a year ago. I tested NVIDIA's frame generation feature. This feature, which isn't available on 30 series powered laptops, worked as advertised in all of the games offered at no perceivable cost to visual fidelity. The only noticeable difference was that it boosted my in-game latency, but not to a degree where the games felt sluggish. Overall, it's a great feature that will surely increase the laptop's longevity, so long as new games start putting frame generation into their settings. At 1440p resolution, you're asking a lot out of your machine, and thankfully the RTX 4080 can keep up with the resolution very well with the oft-needed help of AI upscaling techniques like DLSS or FSR2. Even with DLSS set to performance, everything looks great at 1440p, mainly because the 16-inch screen at Quad HD has a very high pixel density of 183, which is higher than a 32-inch 4K monitor. The only game that I struggled with was Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which, to not fault of the laptop, is still an unoptimized mess several months after launch. Fortunately, the game is still playable with a stuttery 45 to 60 frames per second on high settings, which should be an achievement in and of itself. Impressively, I was able to play Cyberpunk 2077 at cutting-edge new path tracing overdrive mode with a mostly playable 60 plus frame rate using DLSS on ultra performance and frame generation turned on. DLSS set to ultra performance looks like a blurry mess, though I think you're probably better off just playing it on a lower ray tracing ultra mode instead. Even still, it's wild to see a laptop being able to run a mode reserved more for the absolute best desktop cards on the market, like the RTX4090. One important feature to note with the RTX4080 is its 12GB of VRAM, which is much higher than the 8GB offered in the RTX4060 and RTX4070. This is crucial considering the issues we've seen recently in several titles like The Last of Us Part 1 and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, where 8GB of VRAM cards were getting maxed out and suffered huge performance drops. I noticed that many of the games I tested were using over 8GB of VRAM at 1440p when maxed out. 12GB of VRAM is becoming the new standard, and I think the fact that you get it here is a big plus in terms of future-proofing this laptop for the next several years. Another selling point worth mentioning about the RTX 4080 is that it is significantly more powerful than its downgraded model, the RTX 4070. Although I haven't been able to test out the laptop RTX 4070 personally, online benchmarks seem to put the performance improvement between the two models at 50%. In my opinion, this makes a laptop sporting the RTX 4080 far more worth it in terms of price to performance than the RTX 4070. As for normal RAM, you won't have to worry about that here because the Omen 16 comes with quite a lot of it at 32GB. You'll have more than enough for gaming and just enough to do some demanding video editing and content creation. However, the 4800MHz DDR5 RAM is the bare minimum speed you can get out of the DDR5 RAM. Yes, it's faster than DDR4, but not by all that much. This isn't something you should be concerned with when it comes to gaming performance because at the end of the day, the amount of RAM is infinitely more important than the clock speeds. The 16-core 13th gen i7 processor performed very well in Geekbench's single-core and multi-core tests. For a desktop comparison, it seems to perform similarly to the last gen's desktop variant i7-12700K. It pairs very nicely with the RTX 4080 for gaming needs, and it will serve you well for years to come. I am disappointed that you did not get the better i9-13900HX in a laptop in this price range, but I'll talk more about this soon. Lastly, I want to talk about SSD performance. This is a big win here because not only does it come with a very competitively sized 2TB NVMe SSD, but it's also a very fast one. The internal SSD was rated nearly 7,000 megabytes per second read speeds and 6,000 megabytes per second write speeds. These are great results and put it in the upper echelon of Gen 4 SSDs currently on the market. As a result, game load times are excellent, which adds a nice cherry on the top to an already premium gaming experience. Who is this laptop for, and should you buy it? Well, if you're in the high-end laptop market, you're probably looking to play the latest games with the highest possible graphical fidelity, not just get the marginally better frames in League of Legends or Overwatch. I'm happy to say that the Omen 16 represents a reasonably sizable leap forward in gaming performance compared with what we've seen in the past. With the RTX 4080, we're finally seeing laptops catch up to the heights achieved by Nvidia's excellent 30 series desktop cards. You are roughly getting a desktop equivalent machine of an i7-12700 paired with an RTX 3080. However, if you're playing one of these few games currently on the market with DLSS 3, you'll likely be getting much better performance than what a desktop RTX 3080 provides, something that is still mind-blowing to me within this laptop. That's all well and good, but here's the kicker in my opinion. The Omen 16 does notably sacrifice the higher-end Intel i9 that content creators would appreciate for more gamer-centric presentation features like a highly customizable keyboard, HyperX Cloud 2 integration, and a 240Hz display, and I guess a speedy SSD. You will find other laptops on the market featuring the i9-13900 24-core processor for around the same price or even cheaper than the Omen 16. Most notably, at the time of writing this review, I saw the Legion 7i Pro featuring an i9-13900, 32GB of faster DDR5 RAM, an RTX 4080, and a brighter 240Hz display, going on sale for $2,300, where the MSRP is $2,750. At the sale price, that's a steal right now. On paper, That laptop is more appealing to me for the price as someone who plays both games and works full-time as a content creator. While the i7 is still a fantastic processor, I'm always going to want the best specs over fancy presentation features at this price range. If you're just getting the laptop for gaming, you probably won't benefit as much from the better processor. Instead, you might appreciate some of the additional gamer-centric features of the Omen 16. Overall, it comes down to what you're looking to do with this laptop and whether those extra features justify those sacrifices. Noisy Pixel is giving the 2023 HP Omen 16 an A-. I've very much enjoyed my time with the Omen 16. In addition to its top-of-the-line specs, it is wrapped with some unique selling features, a free pair of HyperX Cloud 2s with built-in wireless integration, the well-designed and user-friendly Omen Gaming Hub, and more. It has the right amount of horsepower to provide a comfortable gaming experience for years to come and, to top it off, a comfortable user experience through and through. It is only weighed down by a lackluster battery life, loud fans on performance mode, and the fact that it sits in the same market and price range as other laptops which offer some marginally better specs. Nonetheless, the Omen 16 is an excellent choice for gamers, but if content creation is a big part of your agenda as well, I'd opt for a machine with an i9 if it's in the same price range. Thank you for watching. Noisy Pixel is a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content. See ya, nerds.
Noisy Pixel.